Hey everyone, welcome back. Tonight, I have 3 terrifying real-life stories. Each one will leave you feeling like someone's watching, even if you're alone. So, get comfortable, turn off the lights, and let's dive in. Story 1. The Stranger in My Bed. This happened a couple of years ago when my husband was away on a business trip. I was home alone, and it was one of those nights when every noise seemed to echo. I shrugged it off, figuring I was just on edge because I was by myself. I went to bed, trying to push any scary thoughts out of my mind. A little while after I lay down, I felt a dip in the bed, like someone had just lain down next to me. At first, I was relieved, thinking maybe my husband had come home early, and I didn't even bother to open my eyes. I just felt that familiar weight beside me and drifted off, feeling oddly comforted. But around 3 a.m., I woke up again. This time, I thought I felt someone gently placing a hand on my shoulder. I kept my eyes shut, too tired and disoriented to question it, and I fell back asleep. The next morning, I rolled over to say good morning, but no one was there. I was alone in bed, and I started to feel a chill go down my spine. I grabbed my phone to check the time, and that's when I saw a text from my husband. He'd just landed and would be home in a couple of hours. I sat there, trying to process what that meant. If he wasn't there last night, then who was? Who was next to me, touching my shoulder? To this day, I can't shake the feeling that something else was in the bed with me that night. Story 2. Room 733. I went to college in this old dorm that everyone said was haunted. There was one room in particular, room 733. The rumors were wild. People who stayed there would experience terrifying things, and some never came back quite the same. Room 733 was always locked up, supposedly empty, but I had the room right next door. One night, my roommate and I were up late studying when we heard something scratching at the wall from inside room 733. We tried to ignore it, chalking it up to the building settling, or maybe even an animal. But then, there was this loud thump, like something heavy had fallen over. Curiosity got the best of us, and we decided to check it out. We walked to room 733 and knocked, but no one answered. Just as we were about to walk away, the door handle started turning slowly, all on its own. It felt like forever, but finally, the door creaked open, just a crack. We couldn't see much except shadows, but something was definitely moving inside. My roommate whispered that we should go back, but before we could leave, we heard this low whisper, so soft we couldn't make out what it said. Then, something moved fast toward the door. We screamed and bolted back to our room, slamming the door behind us. We told everyone what happened, but no one believed us. I even reported it to campus security, but when they checked room 733, it was empty, just like they said it would be. But I know what I heard, and I know something was in that room that night. Story 3. Borrasca. I grew up in a small town surrounded by thick woods. In those woods was a place everyone called Borrasca. People said it was haunted or cursed, that something terrible had happened there. I never gave it much thought, until my sister disappeared. My parents searched everywhere, and I helped them, but eventually, they gave up hope. But I couldn't. I had this feeling that I'd find her if I went to Borrasca. One evening, I gathered all my courage and headed into the woods, following the barely visible trail to the clearing. As I got closer, the air felt heavier, and I started hearing this low hum, almost like a machine far in the distance. The trail led me to a clearing where an old treehouse stood, built around a massive twisted tree. The tree looked ancient, with strange markings and initials carved into the bark. I noticed one of the carvings was fresh, my sister's name. I climbed up to the treehouse, calling her name. But the only reply was the eerie silence of the woods. Just as I was about to leave, I heard a rustling in the trees. Shadows moved between the branches, and I felt eyes watching me from every angle. I realized I wasn't alone, and that whatever was there didn't want me to leave. I stumbled out of the treehouse and sprinted through the forest. I didn't look back, but I could feel something following me, close enough that I could hear it breathing. I barely made it out, but to this day, I believe that Baraska holds secrets that are better left buried. And somewhere out there, my sister might still be waiting. Or maybe she's become part of whatever haunts that place. Thanks for tuning in. And if these stories gave you chills, you're not alone. Let me know in the comments which story creeped you out the most. And remember, sometimes it's better not to go looking for answers. Sleep well, and I'll see you next time.